Money Radio, discussing the business of making and spending money.
Hello, you're welcome to today's edition of Money Radio on Leadership Podcast. Money Radio brings you the latest developments in Nigeria's business and economy cycles and issues of businesses around the world. My name is Innocent Odo, and today we are looking at a very important topic, and looking at how to exploit the expertise of Nigerians in the diaspora to boost the ICT sector in Nigeria. And of course, you should know that when we talk about ICT, we're talking about that sector of the economy that actually made possible about 17.9% contribution to the national gross domestic product last year, and is also poised to make more impact in the Nigerian economy for this year. And so ahead of the celebration of the National Diaspora Day on Monday, 25th of July, our experts have gathered in Abuja to also brainstorm on how Nigeria and the Nigerian government can exploit the skills, the expertise, the experience, and the technical competence of these Nigerians who will come in their large numbers in Abuja to celebrate that day. And so it's an open opportunity for Nigerians and Nigerian government and stakeholders in the ICT sector to be able to brainstorm, liaise with the foreign experts who are Nigerians to see how we're going to get these Nigerians to invest in this important sector, especially now that Nigerians are talking about so much about diversification of the economy, and ICT is one area that stands a better chance to enhance the economy and, of course, add value to the Nigerian people, especially the teeming youths who are depending on this sector for the necessary jobs that they desire. I'm not alone in the studio. I'm here with my regular guest, with whom I'm going to do a very serious discussion on this topic. He is an ICT expert, and of course, I know he is going to be in a better shape and a better form to address the issues concerning ICT, especially as Nigerians are coming in here with so much experience and so much skills and technical competence to unleash them and unlock the opportunities that we have here. So on that note, I welcome Haniel Jafaru. Haniel, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Now, we are excited that our friends, brothers, sisters, cousins, uncles, and the rest of them who traveled abroad are coming home to share their experiences with us, their expertise, and of course, their technical competence in areas, especially the ICT, which is your forte. And so, how do you look at this development?
Well, it's a welcome development, but before we go deep into the specification of ICT or the specialization of ICT, it's better we understand who these persons are.
Yes.
You get? Now, when we use the word Nigerians in diaspora, most persons really don't understand the impact these guys bring to this country, even though they are not in this country.
Yes.
We just have over 1.2 million Nigerians in diaspora in all different parts of the world. And starting as at 2018 or 2017, the remittance from Nigerian diaspora to Nigeria is around 22 billion US dollars.
Yes.
Again,
That's a lot of money.
That's huge.
Yes.
22 billion US dollars as of 2017. 2018, it was around 23 plus billion US dollars. And there is even estimation that by 2023, that amount should get to about 34 billion US dollars. Now that amount is a fraction, let's say less than 10% of all the foreign aid that we get as a country. We're talking about the US aid, the FID, all the foreign aids that come into this country from different parts of the world. That amount is less than 10%. The foreign aid is less than 10% of that amount. Yes, that amount is way more than the total budget of our country.
That's the real budget.
I'm talking about what we run with as a country. Yes. The amount that flows into this country from Nigerians in diaspora is way more than the amount of our budget.
Hmm.
Nigeria is second after Egypt among the countries that get inflow remittance from abroad.
Yes.
After Egypt first, which was Egypt was getting around 28 billion, Nigeria was getting 25 billion, followed by Morocco. Yet, so it is when we use the word Nigerian diaspora, most people really don't understand the impact they have. In fact, they contribute highly to our GDP. Just the way we are talking about ICT, the way we are talking about ICT, we should also be talking about the Nigerians in diaspora, the NIDs, because they are also as relevant as the ICT industry is as an industry.
Yes.
Same relevance should be given to Nigerians in diaspora.
Very interesting insights from you here.
So now, with that, we're now looking at some experts, because we're not all the statistics are those that remit.
Yes.
Because there are those that are there, they don't want to nothing. They have decided to let go their father's land. You get that those ones. We're not even talking about that. Now we're talking about those who want to come back and transfer their knowledge, transfer their experience, transfer their exposure to we that are in Nigeria. It's a huge one.
Yes, very huge.
It is something that should be encouraged in the best form it needs to be. And it's something that we should be prepared, because they are coming. The Nigerians that are in Nigeria should also have an open heart.
Yes.
They should open their mind to receive, because these guys are coming with something you may have not heard of before. They are coming with something you may have not seen before. They are coming to tell you things that works in the global scale, written it from the global perspective. So we should have the open mind to be able to receive. Yeah, so it's a welcome development. And
yes, very, very welcome development. Now, I understand also that they are coming with other kinds of technology. Like some are coming with to help in the climate smart agriculture and many other areas, including agro business technology and the rest of them. So, this, we this came because of its contribution to the GDP last year. ICT contributed 17.92% to the GDP of the country, which was very, very high indeed. I mean, even higher than any other sector within the non-oil sector. So you can see that that provides opportunity. And you are in the ICT sector. You know how the dynamics, you know the dimensions. Of course, you know the challenges that that sector is facing. So what do you think that should be done to be able to harness the potentials, or if you like the expertise of these Nigerians that are coming in this in this particular celebration? Because on Monday they are going to showcase them from different parts of the world, most of them with ICT experience. So what do you think will be the framework, the platform, the system and the structures that will enable them to put in this technical expertise and then sustain it?
Okay, we have always have an issue in this country, and that issue has been enabling environment.
Yes.
Yes, because they can come, and then an environment is not enabling for them to effectively plug in their technologies or plug in their experience into the systems and the structure that we have as a country. And that definitely would help. That would make them discouraged, and we may not be able to see that. We may not be able to experience now what they are bringing. Because then another thing we should know is that if they are bringing something we've not seen, as I earlier mentioned,
Yes.
said it means that there will be need for change, change in ideology, change in techniques, change in methodologies, change in strategies. And you know fully well that we always say this word that one thing that is constant in life is change.
Yes.
But another thing we should know is that one thing that is difficult in life is also change.
Also change, yes.
You get, so why it is constant, there's always a place where people fight that change. So we should it still boils down to the open mind that say I started with. We should, those that are already working in those sectors, be it the agri-tech, be it the LTech, be it the EduTech, because all these things, they are individual industries that are connected to ICT.
Yes.
Because when they say if they say they are coming without ICT, it means that they're actually not coming,
Not
because
yes,
ICT is the hub for every other sector. Every other sector plugs into ICT to ensure that they remain relevant. You get. So the EduTech, we're going to be seeing new forms of educational technologies, and the NCC on the other hand now needs to have an open mind. You get.
Yes.
So not that they come with a new form of technology, then NCC say no, we don't know this one. This is not part of our techniques. It's not part of our strategy. So that discourages those that are coming with EdTech. Now, when you're coming with agri-tech, the Ministry of Agriculture needs to have an open mind, because they'll be coming with things like sensors and actuators that tends to sense the humidity of the environment using machines that will be planted like seed. That they are likely going to be planted like seed. Because so they should have an open mind instead of them saying, I don't know this and that, I don't think this will work, this can never work in this part of the world and all that. So it's all about there will be health tech where you don't need to you truly don't need to be in front of a consultant, a medical consultant, for him to diagnose you. You can be right from your system and you get a consultant diagnosis, and he's going to diagnose you as though he's directly in front of you. So the Ministry of Health will need to also have that open mind, instead of them saying no, the person must be there to turn on your open your eye wide, or check your temperature and all that. Yes, all those things are important, but there are technologies that have been put in place to mitigate these things, and these are things that these guys are bringing, and these are things that I think generally all parastatals, the MDA, the ministry, the department, the agencies, they should all have that open mind to accept these guys, because they're coming with more expertise, more experience, and the like.
Yeah, just like you said, everything is ICT is like the hub that every other form of technology revolves around.
True.
So now we're talking about tapping from the expertise and sustaining it, because once they come in, like you said, enabling environment is needed, and then key in the sectors of the Nigerian economy into this expertise that our citizens will bring home. And then what about supporting it with funding?
You can't rule out the place of funding. For everything, fund has always been an issue for us, especially when it has to do with research funds, funds that cannot be easily shared, yet that cannot be easily distributed. It has among those that really don't need the funds and all that. It has always been an issue. But if it's fund that people will eat, people will chop, it's easier to distribute. They have the database of all those that needs to eat and don't get. But funding is a huge concern, because these guys are not coming. Based on the statistics that earlier read out, it's a good one, but that's just remittance. Now we're talking about FDI. Yes. So if they are coming with foreign direct investment, that's a good one. But most of them, they are Nigerians that are there, and most of them are actually working. They are not owners of some of these technologies. They are just probably custodians, and they want to see how they can leverage on where they come from to move those technology or replicate those technology where their origin, their country of origin. So they may not be coming with the funding. So that's now the place of government and parastatals to ensure that the funds are available. But sadly, do we have those kind of funds in our budget? Funds that because now they will tell you when you bring this kind of technology, MDAs will tell you that it's not budget, so you have to wait for like probably another 6 months for budget to be passed and all that.
All right, we will take a short break. When we come back, we'll continue with the discussion. If you're just joining us, we'll be talking of how Nigeria can leverage the expertise of its citizens in the diaspora to boost the ICT sector, and of course, very other important sectors of the Nigerian economy ahead of the National Diaspora Day celebration that will come up on Monday, 25th of July, 2022. Don't go away. We'll come back after the short break.
For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.
Money Radio, discussing the business of making and spending money.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, you're on to Money Radio, and we are talking of how to leverage the expertise of Nigerians in the diaspora to boost the Nigerian ICT sector for the betterment of Nigerian economy. And I've been in the studio with Haniel Tefaro, an ICT expert, doing justice to this very important topic. Haniel, before we went on that short break, we're talking about the importance of funding for the sustainability of a project like this. And this is where we have an impediment concerning Nigeria's pulling funds together and then making the funds to really do the work. For instance, the ICT sector, the way you have put them in dimensions, places where funding can go to, start the talents and energy in those places, chase the talents and energy in those places, and then put the proper funding to tap them into the main pool of the ICT segment that will give us the real benefit. But sadly, like you said, that has not been the case in Nigeria in the past couple of years. So we are afraid it might end up again as a celebration of National Day, maybe ending with conferences, seminars, and workshops. And then the Nigerians who come from different parts of the world will now go back, and then it's become business as usual. I do not know of a country that will develop in that manner if they don't pay real attention and give the necessary investment and funding to projects like this.
Okay, well, myself, I do not know of a country that will develop in that manner. So, yeah, but truth be told, funding is always you can't overflow, you can't over emphasize on the need of funding in everything. Yet, but as I would always say, most persons would not want to put in funds where they don't know where the fund would go to at the end of the day.
Yes.
You get, and that has largely been as a result of the lack of monitoring and evaluation of our projects. Because so we have so many funds that we have given out, and there is no way to monitor and evaluate the effectiveness of those funds. That has always been the challenge.
Yeah.
It's not that the funds are not there, even though we know that largely there is lack of funds with the whole borrowing thing now. But if we want to truly put this into perspective and or make it applicable, we can actually get these funds available. But these funds eventually, once available, without monitoring and evaluation, ends up in the ditch or ends up in the pocket of somebody, and the person uses it for his own personal interest.
Yes.
But once we know that there is a level of monitoring and carry out evaluation on any funds that have been carried out against the project, it makes it easier for even those bringing the project, having the assurance that there will be fund one, then be sure that they will be able to deliver what they are bringing, because we won't rule out the place of those coming from diaspora that would only probably go buy a product that they are not in custody of. They don't know anything about the product. They just say, okay, because I'm a Nigerian diaspora and I just want to see how I can explore the Nigerian market. And let me just bring this product and showcase it. And people see it and wants to put, and eventually the guy doesn't know anything about that product. So we'll not rule out the place of those that want to, the opportunists, those that want to leverage on this opportunity to showcase what will benefit them at the end of the day. But we're talking about those that truly desire Nigeria to grow and want this kind of technologies to be leveraged on in a country that they call theirs, even though they are not residents in the country. Those are the ones we're talking of, and those are the ones that may likely require this thing called funding for them to be able to purely implement what they are bringing.
Okay, there's something that interests me. It's of interest to me when you were talking about the remittances to Nigeria from the diaspora. Now, if you have if you get about over $20 billion remittances from the diaspora, that's a huge amount of, and has become consistent
Yes.
in the couple of, except of course during the COVID.
And it's going to even increase.
Yes.
Because between this statistics was for 2018, and between 2018 and 2022, you know the numbers of persons that have gone out. So we just need to give a couple of months or a couple of years, and you begin to see get remittances.
Okay.
So
Now these remittances again, some might ask, what happens to putting this, if you like, harnessing these remittances? I know most of them come as a result of money sent from abroad for the upkeep of their aged parents, hospital bills, house rent, buying houses, or doing some other things that are purely maybe family issues or community based. So, but then the thing is that this is a huge amount of money that can be harnessed. Now, if you use a chunk of that money, to also invest in ICT, for instance, and maybe you say, okay, let's have a diaspora trust fund. I think they are mulling the idea. I don't know how far they've gone in trying to entrench it as a structure that can actually bring in those kind of money, so that it will have a framework from which that even those remittances can actually begin to work, because that's a lot of money from which you can even invest in the ICT and other sectors of the economy. So, but what that is not really going, it's not really happening, even though they have a framework like the national what they call a trust, diaspora trust fund.
there are so many frameworks that we have in this country that are only on papers.
Yes, indeed. I agree with
so if we want to begin to look at frameworks, we may not live here today. There are so many frameworks that are only on paper, and you can go to the agency and they will tell you that we have the framework and we're implementing it, but it's only on paper. You get, so it's just that I will always say there is one is that you truly can't give what you don't have. There is a place of you knowing exactly what you're giving. So if you truly don't have anything, there is nothing you can give.
Yes.
So most of those in I'm not even talking about the person in power now, but I'm talking about even agencies that are supposed to be managing some of these sub agencies or departments or ministries that are supposed to be managing some of these agencies. Some of them they truly don't know what they are doing, sadly. And it's not with respect to the office that they occupy, but there are things that can be done beyond what is being done. There are things that we can practically put into place and begin to benefit from them. Now, if we have let's say with the 23 billion that comes in, and we said, okay, any money that comes in, there is a certain amount of funds or a percentage of it that should go to that trust fund. Now, it is now a fixed amount. It means that you will not get nothing less than, let's even work with $100 million. $100 million is almost 200 and something billion, if I'm not mistaken,
Yes.
naira. And that is almost 20% of your budget. Now, that can be used as a fund that can be dedicated on, depending on how they want to do it. It can be used as a fund that can be focused on, let's say, want to expand the broadband penetration rate, something that is practicable, something that they can see and would know that, okay, while Nigerians are going out, these are funds that they are bringing, and this fund is what we are seeing. Or that fund can also, in a way, be used as a means of subsidizing certain things like the internet, for example. Subsidizing just imagine if Nigerians have subsidy on internet. Yet everybody uses the internet now.
Yes.
Practically 80% of phone users make use of the internet. Yet, and if you want to subsidize the internet, the data that we'll buy, it's going to be huge for us, because we'll have more data for our research and not minding those that will use it for business, like the social media influencers, and those that will use it for pleasure. But we're talking about the fact that, yes, you now have internet available at your disposal. So Nigerians in Nigeria knows that anything that's to do with free internet is coming from Nigerians in diaspora, and that gives room for and that is it's a room for research. So there are so many things that we can do. There are so many things that can be that, if well articulated and planned and implemented, we can benefit from this fund and benefit from Nigerians in diaspora. Now, there is no Nigerians in diasporas are only, it's only those connected to Nigerians in diasporas that are benefiting from that 23 billion. Yeah, which is nothing, there's nothing bad in it, but the country can harness it, can implement something that makes it possible for everyone to benefit.
Okay, you see, sometimes like this, we have a problem of structure and framework. Somehow we need to even suggest that even the diasporans themselves, since they already have groups, like they have the MIDO, ones in the UK,
Yeah.
and Nigerian Diaspora Organization in the UK, and so many other countries of the world. If there's this lack of confidence in the system of Nigeria, it may have been possible for them to also use their own platform there, harness those resources, and then come direct to do it, probably even in private sector investment.
Yeah, it's possible, but again, there will always be the place of Nigerian. There will always be the place of what's it called, enabling environment.
Yes,
Because I think there was a case about somebody that came from abroad and tried to implement something in his community, and the local government chairman and said that he wants to come out to contest for election. That's why he's doing all that. So he stopped the project. You get, so that enabling environment is there. You need to ensure that there is the enabling. They need to have confidence in the system, and just there are many things that need to be done. There are so many structures that need to be put in place. And when we're talking about structure, most persons think that it is physical building. A system is there. A structure is just like just like what powers a structure is what powers a system. You get, if you don't have structure, systems can't run. A system runs on its own, but it runs on a structure. You get that even though you are not there, the structure is there, and the system can continue running.
Yes.
You get, so the Nigerians in diaspora, they've lost confidence that we don't have a structure, we don't have a system, we don't have. These are the things, these are the environment, these are the enabling environment that needs to be created, and once it is there, you don't need to say to them, come and invest. There are many that desire to come back and invest.
They're really looking for opportunities.
See,
Yes.
do you know what it means? Most Nigerians are living in Nigerians and earning in dollars and earning in pounds and earning in euros, and they're living in Nigeria.
Yes.
You want to compare the standard of living in Nigeria to the UK? You get, because the amount they pay for rent per week is the amount we use in paying for 2 years in Nigeria. You get, but I'm earning the same amount with them, and I'm in Nigeria. So the standard of living here compared to those that are living there is high. You get, so they wouldn't mind coming to live here and work there. Then the money they've been able to harness or save, they invest it here.
Yes,
You get, that's how we grow. You get, that's how we grow, and this thing will continue to increase because of this COVID-19. Since after COVID-19, the thing of the concept of remote jobs, working from home has been a thing of now, and most organizations are implementing it. Some will say work 2 days home, come to 2 days in the office. Guess some are doing full remote job. I don't need to see you. There are so many Nigerians that are working and you don't need to see them. The Nigerians are working abroad and you don't need to see the employee does not need to see them. As long as you're doing your job, that's fine. And if we have that on the rise, it means that we should expect more income coming in from diaspora.
All right, if we put the right things in place, we should expect more income coming from the diaspora. That's the word of Hani Ejefare. And on that note, I say thank you so much for joining us on the program. Thank you. It's always a pleasure having you on the program. So, if you are still with us, we've been talking about how to leverage the expertise of Nigerians in the diaspora to boost the ICT sector and, of course, other sectors of Nigerian life, Nigerian economy, rather. And this is coming on the heels of the 2022 National Diaspora Day celebration that will come up on Monday, 25th of July, 2022. And so we'll see you there on Monday. If you can join us, whether via virtual form or join us at the venue of the event, think it's I'll get the venue later and share with you so that you can join us on that very important occasion. So it's on that note that we'll call it a day on this edition of Money Radio on Leadership Podcast. We promise to bring you a bumper edition when next we come. Stay blessed and goodbye.
Thank you for watching. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.